Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches. Well, today I'm doing a first impressions video of another Pagani Design watch. This one being PD1680. This is their homage to the Grand Seiko. Now, this watch, when it was released, had a little bit of hype around it, or at least a little bit of a conversation going on about this watch. And that was because it was a lot more expensive than the other watches in their range. And as it stands right now on AliExpress, it sells for about 280 Australian dollars, which is at least 100 Australian dollars more than most of the other watches in their range. So today I want to show you just a bit of a quick look at the watch and just see whether it is actually worth that extra money. Now, please keep in mind, knowing what AliExpress is like, knowing what Pagani Design watches are like, that they go on sale very, very regularly. And I did pick this one up whilst it was on sale, and I paid less than 200 Australian dollars for this watch. And I can tell you right now, it is a really nice watch, but I don't think I'd be bothering paying $280 for it, especially when you know it is going to go on sale. And if you do want the watch and a sale is coming up soon, well, check in the description below. I'm going to leave one of those affiliate links to this particular watch from the watch store that I bought it from myself. Now, let's check out this watch. But before you do, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would absolutely love it if you just click on that subscribe button. But let's check out this new Pagani design, or at least a new Pagani design to me. Let's check it out. So here we have the Pagani Design PD1680. Now this does seem to be the new boxes for Pagani Design, this shiny blue. Exactly the same box style, just a shiny blue, which is quite nice. Now what I didn't expect was this quite a nice NATO strap. The hardware on it is really nice, it feels really chunky, it's branded Pagani Design. I think however it's going to be a little bit short. It might sort of fit around my wrist, but you're not going to be able to do that whole foldy thing. It's probably a little bit short, but nice feeling sort of NATO strap. Can't complain too much. Now this is a watch which I have been really interested to see and have an experience with, because when it came out, a lot of people were talking about perhaps Pagani Design is now going to be making a really excellent quality watch. They're going to be trying to compete with watches like San Martin, and they were priced accordingly. So is it as good as a San Martin? Is that extra $100 really worthwhile? Well, over the next month or so, as I'm wearing this watch, I am going to try and answer that question to myself, and then in the full review, answer that for you as well. So what are my first impressions? Well, firstly, yeah, it's probably not as good as a San Martin. It's certainly not. It's at least as good as all the other Pagani designs that I've owned, if not a little bit better. That certainly does stand out a little bit. The bracelet has a very similar sort of feel, maybe a tiny little bit better. But the thing that stands out to me most, because when I look at pictures of this, when I've seen videos of this, I think, oh, what a little chunky watch. It looks a bit big, it looks a bit huge, but it's actually not. It's actually quite sort of tucked in. It sort of has that more those Seiko dimensions, and it actually sits on wrist quite nicely. Even though it looks quite chunky, it sits nice. It's a nice size watch. It has the normal standard sort of specs that a Pagani Design watch has the sapphire crystal, the bezel action. Yep, it's better than some of the other Pagani designs, but probably the same as some of the other Pagani designs. It lines up quite well. There's a tiny bit of movement. What I'll say is it's at least as good as the best Pagani Design bezel action that I've had. I wouldn't say it's significantly better by any means. Certainly does look good. Has a really nice signed crown there. I do like these sort of angles. Obviously this is a homage watch, but I still like the look of it. The brush surface there is actually particularly nice. Have a look at that. Yeah, that looks good. Feels nice on hand as well. And very interesting solid lugs there, aren't they? Yeah, very angular, very sort of chopped out and up and down. Gives it a really interesting look. The clasp that we've got there, yep, right way around there. Double pushes. Obviously, it is fully milled. And it has one of those divers extensions. I don't even know why they bother doing that. Really, it's not very good. And how many people are going to take this diving? I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. Head has 3 sets of micro adjusts, which I've found perfectly fine, so I've got a good fit to my wrist. And on the back, we've got one of those sort of new Pagani Design case backs, which I actually quite like them. I think they're quite good. I like sort of seeing which one comes with the watch, because you get a few different variations of those case backs. And as I mentioned, it actually sits on wrist better than what I thought. It really does sit in amongst the wrist quite well. Has that real sort of slightly shorter lug to lug. Drops down really quickly there, to the point even that it sort of drops down and now it comes out a little bit. So that's probably a little bit odd. Can you see that? Sort of drops down and then works its way around rather than sort of working its way out from the watch itself. But looking down on it, that's not really an issue whatsoever. It's just a nice looking watch. Quite a nice weighted watch too. You feel a little bit of the weight in the head of the watch, but the bracelet has a fair bit of weight to it as well. So it's, yeah, it just feels quite good on wrist. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm probably a little bit impressed by it compared to some of the other Pagani designs. However, I don't think it's going to be worth that extra sort of $100 compared to some of the other Pagani designs. So I'm already going to say it's a nice watch, but buy this one when it's on sale. I think that's going to be the sort of the motto of this watch. As always, I'm going to have this on wrist for at least 4 to 6 weeks. Get all the ins and outs of it in my head so that when I do a full review for you guys, I can give you everything about it, both good and bad. All right, hope to see you in the next video.